Paul Ryan's budget deal. That's what I'd like to talk about today. There's been a lot of debate in Republican and conservative circles about the efficacy and the wisdom of the deal that Paul Ryan struck with Senate Democratic Budget Chairman Patty Murray for modest changes in the budget and for a bipartisan deal that avoids a government shutdown. And the focus has been that there's no curb on entitlements, the food stamp cuts were not included, the left is upset that jobless benefits were not extended, and basically neither side is happy with the deal. But I'm happy with the deal. First of all, obviously, it means there won't be a government shutdown, which means that we can focus attention, like a laser beam, as Bill Clinton would say, on the health care law. You do not accomplish major change in this country without winning an election. It's like saying we should bargain harder at the peace conference, but not first win the war. You have to win the war to be able to get these kinds of concessions, and we lost the last battle. And unless we win in 14, we're not going to be able to get major changes. And to insist that our elected representatives shut down the government in order to try to force in the street what they couldn't do in an election is just wrong, injures them, and destroys the Republican Party prospects. But there's one important argument that's not being discussed that I want to talk about. We've talked a lot in these videos about President Obama usurping the power of Congress and acting like a dictator. He's doing that. But how about Congress usurping the role of Congress? Congress fulfilling its constitutional responsibility and using the power it has as a check and a balance. Congress's power is over the appropriations process. And by simply passing continuing resolutions, one after the other, as it's done for the last 4 years, it is giving the president unbelievable authority over government spending, because all he does is he literally gets a pot of money for discretionary spending, and he can dole it out as he wants to one agency or another, and within the agency, from one program to the other. And that's not how it's supposed to work. What's supposed to happen is that a budget is passed, which is what Ryan and Murray are doing. And then once the budget is passed, the appropriations committees have 13 separate appropriations bills that indicate exactly how that money is going to be spent. And those bills bind the president and lock him in to congressional priorities. Now, it's going to be a tough fight to get our priorities, not the Senate's, and we'll negotiate them, but at least they're going to be congressional priorities, not executive branch priorities. A very good example of that is the defense appropriations bill that's working its way through Congress and hopefully is getting passed. That bans use of funds for the implementation of gun control through the Arms Trade Treaty at the UN that Kerry signed in March. It also bans the use of funds for taking inmates from Gitmo and putting them in the United States for trial. And it assures that the Wounded Warrior Project is fully funded. It's stuff like that that's very important in each of these budgets, and they can't get to pass under a continuing resolution. They can only be done in the budget process. The continuing resolution is intended to be a couple of days if they miss the deadline, and instead they've governed under it for 4 years. So this is a crucial step, and if only for that reason, it's very important that Congress retake this power. And that's why this budget deal was a very important deal. Even if it had no cuts in it and no deficit reduction, it has about $30 billion of deficit reduction. Even if it had none of it, the level of control of Obama and the ability to influence his policy by appropriations one way or the other, influence EPA and FCC and all the rulemaking bodies, is absolutely crucial. And Congress has surrendered that power, and now, thank goodness, under Paul Ryan's leadership, it's recapturing it. Thanks for watching. By the way, Christmas is coming up, and there are just too few gifts that really underscore America's values. You go into bookstores for children, and Heather Has Two Mommies greets you, or some environmental stuff. Nothing about America's values. So our golden retriever, Dubs, has jumped into the breach. And we have two wonderful books. One is Dubs Goes to Washington, and the other is Dubs Goes to Philadelphia. And in both books, he explores all of America's monuments and where the Declaration of Independence was written and Lincoln Memorial, and Jefferson Memorial, and it has really cute poems attached and wonderful drawings by our friend Clayton Leota. So buy them at Amazon.com or DickMorris.com. Dubs goes to Washington, and Dubs goes to Philadelphia. Thanks a lot for watching.